All right. I think we're on mic, but I know my computer is saying we're transferring. So it's really nice to see you. I think we are now on live. And I just wanted to know how you're doing today and where are you at?
It's going great. I'm in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Everything's safe and well protected here. I'm at the Rehab Summit conference, which is just enormous and large. And this year they're having a in-person live return of the Rehab Summit, but it's also virtual. So we've got a lot of people attending offsite as well.
That's really exciting. And what are you teaching on at the summit?
Yeah, so I just got through with a 2-hour presentation on basically finding, facilitating, and forcing movement from upper and lower extremity recovery after stroke. So find, facilitate, force, and function is what it is. And just really looking at the evidence of what techniques to actually apply at what stages in recovery, rather than just saying, this is my go-to stroke rehab technique, and I use it for everybody, regardless of what stage of severity they have, et cetera.
Do you have any examples, Mike, of like some of the things that you've tried with people to encourage more of that use?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, so, we talk about, especially in the upper extremity, how one of the main prognostic indicators is sensation. And so one of the videotapes, actually 3 of the videotapes that I was sharing with the participants here, both in person and online, is just to actually put the affected upper extremity at a position where it is not only wanted and desired, but it's a must-have. And so, how all of us will casually lean on a table occasionally to keep our balance. One of the things that appears to be most compelling to draw sensory neuroplasticity out of an affected upper extremity is to put it as the only extremity that you can realistically use to be able to get a sense of balance. Eyes closed, hand on a fixed surface, hand can't slip off, fall off, etc. And just go to town and just let your brain rely on that upper extremity rather than experience so much learned non-use, etc. So that's just one of the techniques that we talk about here today.
Very cool. And I know when we did our neuroplasticity course a couple of years ago, one of my patients came to the course and he had multiple sclerosis, and there was definitely some really interesting sensory components. And that was one of the things you had him do, was hold onto a bar. And it definitely helped, I think, him to reconnect with his arm in a more natural way where he wasn't having to think about it, which is really cool.
Yeah. I like to call it opportunistic use therapy because I make an acronym out of almost anything. So it spells out opportunistic use therapy. So it's a real compelling thing to do. And when a few other events of my life get cleared out of the way, I'll be studying that actually a little bit more too.
Oh, very cool. Like more like a research-based study. Like,
yep, absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah,
that'll be really exciting. I think it'll be really successful.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the enhanced expectancies of, do you think it'll be really successful too?
Very cool. And then, Mike, I know you've been dreaming a little bit about some of our upcoming course ideas for neuroplasticity. I guess it's now 4.0.
Yeah.
I don't know how many .0s we're going to get to, but
we only go further points if the previous point was successful. So
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of the things you were thinking about?
So we in March, and I think it's the 13th and 14th, whatever the Saturday and Sunday is, the second weekend of March, we should be engaging in neuroplasticity 4.0. It all started down, at reactive physical therapy with neuroplasticity 1.0. And at this event, we're really hoping to be able to dive a lot further into advancing practice when we talk about using dual task rehabilitation to do 3 separate things. To screen for people that need dual task rehabilitation, to intervene in a much more systematic way to determine what this individual needs, what subtype of dual task training they need, and to intervene in a manner that causes them to be more engaged. So the three things to reiterate that we're now trying to establish as kind of these pillars of dual task rehabilitation are screen, intervene, and engage. And one of the things that we're now understanding in especially the screening aspect is that screening individuals with mild cognitive impairment, Parkinson's disease especially, appears to be one of the best ways that we can begin to detect these conditions in a prodromal fashion. And so I'll save a little bit of the thunder there, but that's one of the things that we're going to talk about is actually doing tests that can help us detect these more, smoldering and yet emerging neurologic conditions on a degenerative basis before they actually become clinically detectable. Another one of the things that we're going to do in Neuroplasticity 4.0 is do a deep dive into the phenotypes of Parkinson's disease. We're going to talk about the three subtypes or phenotypes and their motor expressions and the treatments that they do and don't need based on those motor expressions, as well as the non-motors. And really, so one of the biggest differences is the entire differentials of the subtype of cognitive impairment that one type of persons with Parkinson's disease have that another type appears not to have. And they have total differences in their cognitive attributes by way of dual tasking for one and by way of executive functions for the other.
Yeah,
and then the third thing, interestingly, that we're going to talk about as one of the major highlights of Neuroplasticity 4.0 is exactly what I got through talking about here today. Find, facilitate, force, and function, and what we can do to make certain that our interventions for stroke are actually in part and aligned with the severity and stage of recovery.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot, but it will take 13
yeah.
hours. We'll get it done.
Yeah, I always feel like I learned so much from you, Mike, and especially like the dual tasking piece really opened my eyes when you first came and talked to us as just kind of like movement in the background. Sometimes I even think of like sensory in the background, and just kind of incorporating these ideas of how can we make everything more automatic. And I feel like that's what I learned the most from you.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, Brittany, with this exploration, we're not going to have to repeat a lot of stuff that we've done in the past. We'll be able to express how and where it's helpful for stroke, different from Parkinson's disease, totally different for Parkinson's disease, totally different from functional neurologic disorders, and then totally different from concussion. So those would be kind of some of the four main highlight diagnostic groups that we'll cover and show how they're so different across the board.
And I know, like for me, when I'm thinking about dual tasking, sometimes it can be challenging to know what would work. And I feel like I'm just kind of like experimenting a little bit and finding, oops, that was not a good choice for that person. And like, oh, okay, this is a better choice. And I think finding that right challenge sometimes really makes the biggest difference for when we're working with patients. Yeah,
dosage makes a difference because, you're talking about dosage, finding the right challenge, but you're also talking about finding the right challenge for the personality that's in front of you too. And if we falter and we make a mistake and whoops, that was either too much or gosh, I chose something that's way too contrived and the person thought that this felt very artificial, then that also is a waste of their time and also damages the relationship between the two of you, that engaging therapeutic relationship. So I hope to touch on those matters as well.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen you when we've done all these courses and I've had a lot of my patients come in, it's just like making that connection with who's sitting in front of you and really understanding them as a person on that deeper level makes all the difference in the world. Like it'll completely change the outcome of that treatment in that one session.
And that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to in 4.0, because I fully expect, and nobody can predict anything, but I fully expect we'll be in person now again. And so I'll have the opportunity to spend even a greater portion of the time that we've got allocated just seeing persons and working with them at that humanistic level. and being able to just really model exactly how I would care for this person and make it so less theoretical. And that's one of the best things that I think the neuroplasticity model is. And that's why it's called as it is. It's not called neuroplasticity and we misspelled it. It's how you practice this stuff. And that's what we're really hoping to be able to do live in person again.
Well, this is like the perfect segue opportunity, because I think one of the biggest things I've been wondering about you, Mike, is like, what makes you tick, kind of, like, how did you get to this place where I just feel like when I'm observing you working with people, you have this amazing gift to like discover the thing that really either motivates them or really, just speaks to them. And every time after we've done these courses, literally the person will turn to me and go, that guy is a genius.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah. Like even my dad was like, wow, that guy's real smart. Yeah, so
I tell you,
where does this come from?
I don't know. Yeah. I'll tell you, I am not the smartest individual. I come from very humble upbringings. I was raised on a farm and in a high school where I knew everybody when I was a senior all the way down through 7th grade. I mean, we're talking a rural population 48 when we moved there. And so the high school actually is a compilation of many different, surrounding communities. I mean, I don't come I came to the University of Missouri as a freshman, and I was going to declare as a major either sports broadcast journalism, because I wanted to be aligned with a Major League Baseball team, or I was going to go into athletic training. And they said, well, what about this major that we've got here, physical therapy? And I said, okay, let's see what we have to do there. And and I looked at all the sciences that I needed to teach, or that I needed to be able to take. And Brittany, I didn't take biology in high school. Because biology was only offered. Biology was only offered the 7th period of the day, always. That was always only offered the 7th period of the day. And I played baseball. And we played baseball in the spring, and we played baseball in the fall, and we played about 110 games a year. That was my 7th period, was checked out for baseball. You had to be on the team, and that was my passion. I went in as a freshman and I had to take zoology. I much less didn't take biology. I had to take zoology to be able to actually qualify to get ready to, get into this bachelor's of physical therapy program. I didn't have time to take, biology 101 for the first time. I was dropped into zoology. I took physics one time. It was my senior year, was the first time that they offered physics in our high school, the very first time. And I'm talking college level physics. So whoever says that guy's really smart, I'll have to debunk that widely. And I'll tell you, going back to your question, what makes you tick and et cetera, the biggest thing that is not a unique attribute that may differentiate me, only because I like to use this superpower, and that is that I really, really enjoy listening to people, and I enjoy innovating. And if I can actually find a nugget that somebody drops in my lap incidentally or on purpose, and I can figure out a way to be able to use that nugget to be able to push them in a manner that no one else maybe has before, that's just that's the only gift that I have whatsoever. That it starts and stops right there.
Yeah. And it sounds like it really makes treating people really enjoyable for you, because it's like that creative, innovative, like it's kind of like the artistic side of practice, that the art versus the science kind of thing, where you love to dive in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, and you can hear the excitement and the energy, and I'm here for a reason. I mean, nobody travels down to Las Vegas this day and age to teach at a big conference like that unless they're really excited about what they're teaching. I'm in my 31st year of practice right now, and I'm just as excited as I was in 1991. I love it. I could tear up about it in a moment's notice, and I'm ready to, re-up my NCS for a third time that I would be recertifying.
Wow.
Because I got certified in 1995. So in 2025, I'm ready to re-up again. I'm doing the whole portfolio. I'm ready to keep going. I love what I'm doing, and this career I'll do it for as long as I'm capable.
Do you have any advice for people like to help maintain that passion for 30 years of practice? Because I feel like working with people can be hard sometimes too, right? And it's a lot. So what do you do?
Gosh, I think
passion?
it's really all about the same thing that causes a person to experience learning and to experience a stimulus for neuroplasticity that is what drives me too. And that is the successes. And so I think the thing that keeps me from getting burned out is that I continue to look for and not believe that we're at the epitome and the pinnacle of how we do care right now. And I continue to look for and innovate new ways, and finding new ways that appear to be successful that later get proven out in evidence, or that support and help us translate knowledge that we've already got of, gosh, here's this research article, and even if I don't have to innovate, that's what to do. How do I actually apply that well and maybe actually ratchet that up to make it work even better? The opportunity to innovate into the unknown is really kind of that Star Trek thing that keeps me moving. It's like, you know, they say space, the final frontier.
Yeah.
I say bogus, brain is the final frontier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expansive. And the fact that we don't know everything about it, you know, full pardon to those, including yourself, that I know have a great orthopedic passion. I probably would be burned out if that's all I did was total knee rehabilitation. And so I just have to have a final frontier that's yet undiscovered. And I would pretty much guarantee that in the next 30 years of my practice, we're still not going to know everything about the brain. And so I'm going to still be able to find ways to explore.
Okay, so neuroplasticity 34.0.
Yeah, you're so right. Oh my gosh, you just spun that right at me. Yes. And I will resist all temptations to pull out a Mr. Magoo older person imitation and intentionally not be derogatory of how I will look when I'm 84 years old and teaching this.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
So that's hilarious. Well, Mike, thank you. So I know you have to get going to your next presentation. I want to make sure you guys have, or you have time to set up. So thank you so much for joining us today. I realized we didn't even really introduce who we are in the beginning, but yeah, I'm Brittany Kim. I'm a physical therapist at Re+active Physical Therapy, and this is the amazing Mike Studer, and he comes and teaches in a lot of our courses and also in our Brain Bites. And I just feel like it's been such a joy to get to know you and have you as kind of like one of my mentors. So I just want to again say thank you for coming today. And if anybody is interested in continuing to learn, please hold on one second. I'm sorry, my husband is talking. I didn't know if you could hear him.
It's fine. It's really fine.
But yeah, if anybody else wants to learn anything more about the brain and all the amazing things that it can do, please sign up for our newsletter at reactiveeducation.com. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And Mike, I hope you have a safe trip back home after your conference. Yeah,
Thanks so much. I'm looking forward to it. I'll say a couple quick things.
Yes, please.
Brain Bites next week. I actually get to be there. I want to say it's the 18th, maybe.
Yes,
next Thursday. So watch out for that. And again, to reiterate, Neuroplasticity 4.0, March, I think 13th and 14th. And then Brittany, here's the last thing that I want to say. You remember how I said what keeps me going is the fact that I get to innovate with patients on a regular basis. And I'll tell you, this is the other thing. It's actually also seeing young clinicians such as yourself that just take this up and take the torch and the ball, and they just move it eons past where I ever had it. So just being able to influence like that also is motivational for me. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Mike. And have a wonderful rest of your conference.
Will do. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Say hey to Julie and everybody back there. Bye-bye.
I will.